At T-Mobile, our critical mission is providing unparalleled 5G coverage for when connectivity is mission critical. Introducing T-Priority, America's best 5G network experience for first responders, even in times of congestion. More capacity, faster speeds, better coverage. T-Priority from T-Mobile, built for tomorrow's emergencies, ready today. Discover more at t-priority.com.
For qualifying organizations on eligible rate plans, coverage not available in some areas and may be impacted by emergencies.
Every Pokemon Episode Ever podcast is now on YouTube. Go on YouTube and search Every Pokemon Episode Ever podcast and click that subscribe button to never miss an episode. Welcome back, everyone, to another fantastic episode of the Every Pokemon Episode Ever podcast, episode 73, everybody. I am one of your hosts this week, Wrestling Chris G, and on the other line with me is the strong one of the group, good old Dougie Fresh. Dougie, my man, how you doing?
I'm fine. I said you could go with that. I just figured you didn't want yourself laughing halfway through it.
I think that would have made it even funnier.
I see.
Doug's original nickname this week, this is take two, everybody, but the original nickname sounded good in my head, but did not sound good when it came out. Should I enlighten the audience, Doug?
No.
No.
Can't be giving him a second chance.
But but yeah. So today's episode is episode 73, Doug. The Master of the Onixpected, or translated from Japanese, Elite Four Shiba appears. So I can make her take either one of these. So, because I do kind of like the Japanese translation of this episode.
It's not bad. I mean, you get a little bit of false hope about the mention of the Elite Four, but
yeah. So, but all right. We are here, Doug, my man. I feel like I can enlighten the audience a little bit as to what I just fucking did outside, scaring the shit out of my neighbor. So, everyone, I own an actual flamethrower. And out here in Illinois, it's snowed and it's been pretty cold the past couple of days. So, there's been like just little sheets of ice either on the driveway or on the walkway. I at least snow plowed the majority of the damn snow when it dropped, but my wife was like, "It's too damn slippery out here. You need to do something. You need to lay some salt down." And I took that as, "Oh, she's telling me to flamethrower all this ice and get it away," even though she did say salt. But I used fire and salt. So I took my flamethrower out and I'm outside for like 35, 40 minutes, just blazing the ice and melting it all the way down. And mind you, it's like 17 degrees outside. So me melting the ice, it's going to freeze right back. But it's not going to freeze if I lay some salt down. So of course I laid some salt down. But my neighbor was leaving her house and she comes to a complete stop just because she sees me with my flamethrower, and I wave at her with the flamethrower in hand and then take it and I hit the trigger and the fire just plunges into the air, and I must have scared her because she kind of sped off. She's like, "This crazy."
and burn down the cul-de-sac.
Yeah, I know, right? But everyone else around here, they're like fire freaks. Like all my neighbors love using my flamethrower. I have no idea why. but every single one of my neighbors have used it at one point, and I'm sure they were recording me because every time it seems like every time I'm outside that they're at their window recording me, and I see it on Facebook. But I know my wife was recording me today.
As if something goes wrong, they want proof that it was the black guy that did it.
For real. We didn't do this shit. You see that?
We didn't do it. We have 3 different camera angles.
uh he says he's black, but he's more brown.
Yeah, he's lying through his teeth. He's lying. You can see by yourself. You can.
So, but yeah, it was pretty funny. Scared went on and scared my neighbor and melted all the ice that was around our house and everything, and our kids will no longer fall. So, yeah, that's what I was doing right before we were recording today. Made us 30 minutes late in recording tonight because my ass wanted to use a flamethrower.
Yeah, and whose fucking idea was it to do 3 of these sons of bitches?
Me. I ain't got nowhere to be.
Yeah, well, must be nice.
So yeah, well, do you really want to watch New Year's Evil tonight?
It actually doesn't look like a bad card, if I'm honest with you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I might take a look at it. I'm also I'm in the middle of Wrestle Kingdom as well right now because we're recording this on January 4th, so I'm currently in the middle of watching night 1 of Wrestle Kingdom, and it's not bad so far. It is pretty weird. I believe they're going 3 nights this year.
Yeah, I
So,
thought I saw 3 or 4. I wasn't sure.
yeah, I believe it's 3. And it's kind of weird because it used to just be the one night, and then they tested out a couple years ago the whole 2 night thing, and it was a huge success for them. They're like, oh, 2 nights work, why not 3 nights? But the third night apparently is not at the Tokyo Dome; it's somewhere else.
Ah,
So I'm gonna be interested to see how many people that they're actually going to have for night 3 or where it's going to be at. So, but yeah, night 2 is tonight, so I need to catch up because they have a double championship match where the winner of night 1 goes to night 2, and I forget who he's facing because the good thing about New Japan Pro Wrestling is you can just come in at any point and be guaranteed some good matches. So, yeah, I love me some New
yeah.
Japan.
I mean, obviously they've got story, but they're more of a big event company.
Yeah. And like I said, I think they're doing what WWE is going to be doing with Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. I know I might be boring a lot of people out there that are not wrestling fans, but to me, it looks like they're heading towards WrestleMania this year for champion versus champion, Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns, winner takes all, and then um, whoever. I'm guessing what they're going to do is night 1 is going to be Brock and Roman, and night 2 is going to be the winner of the Royal Rumble versus whoever wins on night 1. So that's
I honestly think you could have Lashley win the match at the Rumble. Brock gets in the Rumble, wins the Rumble, and challenges Roman.
you think so? You think that's what they're gonna do?
Well, because the problem is, he said like he completely blew off Lashley after the main event, and he's like, "I'm going to see Roman on Friday," and so obviously they're still keeping that beef warm.
Yeah.
So what's to stop Reigns from getting the WWE title off of Lesnar at the Rumble? Roman or Brock kills somebody, takes his spot, wins the Rumble, and challenges Roman.
You know that's not a bad idea. I do like that idea. I don't think that they're gonna go that route. I do know Meltzer said this title reign is just a holding stone for Brock Lesnar right now, and I think they kind of
Right.
freaked out with the whole Roman thing. So I guess we'll see. You might be right, Doug. You might be right.
Look, and my thing is like, so Big E was going to lose that title regardless on Saturday. Like
Yes.
somebody was going to beat him, and it was probably going to be Lashley.
Yeah, Lashley was probably going to win that match, but they're probably holding it off for a couple because the Rumble is at the end of January, isn't it?
Yeah, it's around your wife's birthday, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she always shares her birthday with the Rumble.
How
There,
dare she?
I
Really?
know, I
God
know,
bless. Son of a. Some people,
I know. Like you would think, no, just change your birthday so we can have the best of both worlds. But no.
Okay, Booker, no, you're kidding.
So, all right, everybody. Today's episode premiered in Japan November 19th, 1998, and here in the States premiered October 11th, 1999. Doug, my man, am I going first or second today? My date for this is 1975.
You are going first.
I am going first. All right. So, on my date in 1975, October 11th, Saturday Night Live, SNL, created by Lorne Michaels, premieres on NBC with George Carlin as host. So, the franchise that still lives strong today premiered on this day, Doug.
Now
And
you
I
could think you could debate on how strong it's going, but it's going.
yeah, well, it is still because it's one of their flagship shows, so it's never going away.
Oh,
I
that's
mean,
true.
so regardless of how poor it is, I mean, just like WWE, I mean, even though it sucks, it sucks right now, storyline wise, I mean, it's never gonna fucking die. So it's here for the long haul. If WWE dies, the wrestling business dies, in my eyes. So
Yeah, I suppose you could make that argument.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, because people can say, oh, but AEW or Impact or Ring of Honor or New Japan, they can take the flag and run with it. No, not a lot of, surprisingly, not a lot of Americans really watch those other shows. So I
I
think
can't
the,
even find Impact
yeah, I mean, Impact has a new network every time you sneeze. So yeah, it's
every time you sneeze.
you tell me
It's
I'm
cold.
wrong.
That's cold.
You tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
You ain't wrong, but that's fucking cold.
They couldn't even keep a network on Twitch. Come on. Come on. I'm sure
Um,
I'm sure if we were on Twitch, we would last longer than freaking Impact at this point. I mean, and don't and people that are listening that like Impact, I do enjoy me some Impact, but their audience is just not there. It's just it's a whole different ball game. So yeah, Doug.
yeah, so I think it
What?
would be all right on Twitch because we wouldn't have Rob Van Dam having threesomes.
For real, for real. So, all right, but yeah, that was mine. Saturday Night Live, like I said, still going strong. They got Keenan Thompson as one of their main stars on the show, who is making a very good living with SNL, his TV show, his commercial ads, and just and he started from scratch over at all that at Nickelodeon. So I mean, look at him now.
Yeah,
So
look at him now.
so all right, Doug, my man, take the ball. What's your date?
So on October 11th, 2016, we had decisive Game 4 in the NLDS between the Chicago Cubs and the San Francisco Giants. This is notable because Cubs staged the largest comeback to close out a series in history. They were down 5-1 going into the top of the ninth, so you had 3 outs to play with. Otherwise, we were going back to Chicago for Game 5. They got a couple of hits, and all of a sudden, you've got a couple guys on, and then there was a throwing error. If memory serves, we might have been recording the wrestling show that night, and I was just kind of hanging out, and I was kind of
just there.
I was kind of just there, and I would kind of resign because, like I say, they were trailing because they got down, at the end of the 5th inning is when they were down. So they had 3 innings where they just weren't doing diddly poo. And it's like, oh, God damn it. I really didn't want to go to 5 because anything could happen. And, all of a sudden they put a freaking rally together. The clutch base hits to tie it and take the lead. And then, the Cubs bullpen slams the door. They win 6-5. This was big because it was an even year, and San Francisco was going on a run of only winning world championships in even years because they had won it in 10, 12, and 14. So everybody had just kind of
holding their breath.
A lot of people just kind of threw it up there. Like, oh, it's 2016. It's an even number. They're probably going to come back, and they're probably going to make a run at it.
And they did.
Shut the door, and Cubs went on to face the Los Angeles Dodgers for the National League pennant. I'm not going to go into that because who the fuck knows what other dates are popping up. Unfortunately, I don't want to talk about what happened on the 16th, so we might have to revisit this later.
All right. And for those wondering, our 2 episodes from now, which will be on Bad to the Bone, is going to conclude Doug's speech on what happened on October 16th. So I'm guessing
it won't, because I'm not talking about that.
Oh, what happened on the 16th, Doug?
Lost Game 2 is what happened.
Yeah, I didn't even know. I'm just as shocked right now as a lot of our viewers. Yeah, we lost game number 2. So
what are you talking? You're over there, Sox fan.
Hey.
Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. You just can't be stealing wheeze from people.
Hey, now I dabble back and forth just because my wife.
You can't be dabbling.
My wife and her family are White Sox fans, and I was not a baseball fan at all before I got into this family. But I was.
Oh, I just wore the hats because I like the designs.
Hey, I didn't wear any White Sox hats. Ever.
Oh, you wore a couple baseball hats. You had a Boston Red Sox hat because you liked how it looked.
Did I really? I don't.
You sure did.
I don't remember that.
Like, I like the color. Like, all right.
Of course I did. But all right. So thank you, Doug. Thank you for our history lesson this week. Are you ready to jump into this week's episode?
I am.
All right. So we start this week's episode with the narrator telling all of us that we are 3 weeks away, Doug. 3 freaking weeks away. And Ash has yet to do anything. What the hell? But
I mean, he shot a movie, he surfed a big wave, he went to the premiere, he
yeah,
a lot of things. He slept at home a lot.
he's had a he's had Mr. Mime try to suck his face off with the vacuum. He's done a lot.
Done a whole bunch.
So this week we start off with a shot of Bruno on the TV screen, and he has his Hitmonchan, and he throws him out, and Hitmonchan's like, John, and freaking Ash and Brock are sitting there watching this on the TV, and it looks like an old video of Bruno fighting in the Pokemon League. And then out of nowhere, Misty's dumbass comes in and just turns the TV off.
And so we know from last week's episode, she's got a vendetta against the TV because she made that crack about the only thing that gets a workout between Ash and Brock is the TV remote.
Yeah, for real. And Ash is like, "Hey, turn that back on." And Misty goes on to tell Brock and Ash, "Shouldn't you be training for the Pokemon League? You've been doing everything to avoid actual training." And Brock just jumps right on in. And he's like, "Well, we are training for the Pokemon League." She's like, "Huh?" And he's like, "Yeah, that was Bruno. He's one of the Elite Four members, and we were watching him to study his techniques in the Pokemon League." And then kind of takes Misty aback. Doug?
He said, "Oh, we were one," but nobody was fucking taking notes.
No, not at all. Because and that goes with probably your next point with when Ash was sitting there going, "Yeah, what was going on again? What were we doing?" And Brock is like, "Oh, you stupid asshole."
Blow up our entire spot.
I know. Yeah, because he was like, "Yeah, we were trying to learn his secret techniques." And he looks right back at Brock and is like, "What were those secret techniques again?" And Brock was like, "Ah." And Misty, of course, sits there with a smirk on her face, and she's like, "Well, those secrets must be really secret." Doug?
And, Brock's, kind of panicking, so he's trying to cover. He's like, "Well, these Elite Four trainers must have, like, some secrets to develop strong Pokemon, and we're trying to get kind of the inside track." And Ash is like, "Yeah, I want to find those Pokemon so I can be a great trainer just like him." And apparently, pardon me, apparently, this Bruno fella trains somewhere secret in the mountains, and Ash is like, "Well, we should go. We should try to find him." And Brock's kind of sitting there. He's like, "Well, Bruno's a superstar. He's not gonna waste his time on the common folk like us." And Ash says, "Well, I'll tell you one thing. If I could find him, I bet you he'd train me." And Mrs. Ketchum, apropos of nothing, just pops in and goes, "I know where to find him."
I bet she does know where to find him.
This would be the 2022 equivalent of she stalks him on Instagram or something.
For real. She's like, there's a rumor going around that Bruno's secret training spot is someplace in Mount Hideaway. And he's like, "Mount Hideaway? All right, cool, because that's where we're going. We're going to go to Mount Hideaway, and we're going to go up there and find good old Bruno."
And then we get the title sequence.
They're really stretching these title sequences lately. We're freaking almost 3 minutes in, and we're finally getting the damn title sequence.
Say, listen here. If you're here for a filler episode, you'll watch pretty much anything. If you're watching this,
they're like, "Oh shit, we got to tell them what the name of the episode is." Bah.
Oh, did we even figure one out?
So it's we after the title sequence, we come into our heroes just sitting and they're panting, and Misty is perfectly fine because she's not carrying anything but Togepi and whatever probably lunch she has in her backpack, and
Oh,
she's like,
and the Pokeballs probably.
yeah,
She
and
doesn't have them on her belt.
I was about to say, well, according to this episode, she might only is only carrying one Pokemon, which we'll get into
That's
later.
that's how it's so light. You see.
So she's looking at the trail and she's like, "Oh, look!" She's like, "We might only have about 7 or 8 miles to go from here, until we're finally at Mount Hideaway to go and find your Bruno." And Brock, of all people, is panting. I mean, I know Ash is, but Brock is panting like crazy, and he's like, 7 or 8 more miles. What the hell? And they're just tired. Pikachu is like, this is really my trainer. I mean, he's supposed to be getting ready for the Pokemon League, and he's sitting here panting, just walking up a hill. And
And
Misty is sitting there basically calling them pathetic as well. Like, how are you expecting to become a great trainer if you can't even make it up this damn hill, Doug?
and Brock looks at Misty and he's like, "Well, you definitely must be tired, so we can take a we can find a spot to rest, so you can sit down and relax." And
And
Misty's like, "Well,
she wasn't tired at all.
she's like, well, if you need to protect your ego that much."
So we go straight from that to what looks like a hut, and an old lady comes out and she has some meatball kebabs on a platter, and she's bringing them out for Brock, Misty, and Ash, so that they can eat. And she's going on and she's explaining to all three of them that that she's on the lookout for some hoodlums, because some hoodlums keep coming in and taking her food every time that she makes food. And she looks down and she thinks that the hoodlums have taken off with her food again. She's like, these hoodlums again, they took my food. And come to find out, the screen pans over and Brock and Ash are just scouring down these meatballs like freaking crazy. And she's like, "Oh, okay, you guys are the ones eating it," even though they didn't leave anything for Misty.
Well, she wasn't tired. And to be fair, Togepi had a meatball too. She's like, "Oh, well, that's okay then." And then she hears a noise, and a little impromptu trap has been sprung, alerting her that the potential food thieves are back. So she's got a broom. She sees the back of them, and we know right away the food thieves are Jesse, James, and Meow.
Yeah, and
And we get
they're sitting there. They're like, those are no regular hoodlums. I know exactly who they are. That's Team Rocket." And they're just, of course, Team Rocket um, can't not show their identity. They turn right around and start with their old motto.
we get a bit of a zhuzhed up version of the motto. Jesse calls them, she's a prepare for trouble whippersnapper, and we get double young fella says James, and Alf is literally the viewer and says, "Well, listen, we've heard this enough," and he hits fast forward, and
Where is he every single week with that damn remote?
I'm telling you, well, I mean, I found the remote myself because I'm watching these episodes on 1.5 speed. So watching this episode was a trip. I mean, this part at least.
You wait a minute.
And
Wait a minute. There's a button on your remote for Pokemon episodes to watch this stuff in a speed and a half.
yeah, I mean, if you watch it on your phone, you can go up to 2 times.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
It was with the latest update. It's like, oh, I can control the playback speed. Um, wrestling's interesting. Wrestling is interesting on 2 times.
I'm sure it is. I
So
don't think I could do it.
you can't do a podcast at 2 times, and that's just talking.
Yes, I know.
Um, so Meowth hits the fast forward button, and Jesse and James are in double time, and you could tell they're actually being affected because they've got like beads of sweat, and they're getting and then Meowth drops in and does his line, and Jesse and James are just exhausted, and James says, "I think I bit my tongue," and that's a son of a bitch. I did that this afternoon.
What were you eating?
I had a piece of gum in my mouth, and I was just getting my laps in the house because I'm not fucking with this wind chill this week. I think I'm staying in the whole week. Um, I was just going around the corner. I don't know if I bumped into something or the dog barked. All of a sudden, the gum slipped, and I bit the fucking side of my tongue.
Ooh.
Fuck
So
me, that hurt.
I'm sure it's still swollen as of right now, isn't it?
I mean, I'm running that part of my tongue against my teeth, and I can feel where it's dinged.
Ouch. Yeah, I hate it when I do that.
I mean, that's just it was the side too. I mean, I've bit the tip of my tongue before, but I'd never like. I mean, you've gone this far. If you don't care for it, hit the 15-second button. I fucking drew blood.
Ooh. Ooh. Okay. Yeah, you were really munching on that gum. Damn.
Yeah, I when I was well, I look like an idiot when I'm doing laps in the house because I'm literally just doing a circle around the living room.
And I've
And
been in your living room, so I can imagine.
I mean, you go out, you go through the hallway, you can get it. It's a decent circle, and um, I've got the phone in the house, so I don't have to have the phone because I got the headphones on and they're Bluetooth, so I don't have to have my phone in my hand. The phone's just hanging out, and I'm focused on what I'm listening to. It was a review of Raw because to be honest, I didn't go back to Raw until after I listened to the review because I was like, okay, what was worth it? And everybody was like, oh,
The Fatal 4-Way
the
was good.
opener and the Fatal 4-Way, yeah. And people liked the U.S. title match as well.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
I was listening to that, and like I say, I took that corner, all of a sudden, just plot. I was like, ow!
So so back into the episode. So after Team Rocket is done doing their motto, the old lady goes in and chases them off with a broom, scaring the mess out of Team Rocket, and Team Rocket just goes running down. They drop the bags, which it looks like they've been saving these kebabs because there wasn't that many kebabs to begin with that was cooked fresh that they were eating. But they had
Right.
bags full of these meat kebabs. And they dropped all 3 sacks and just started wandering off. And the old lady is sitting there. She's like, "Heh, I guess we showed them." And then she just chuckles and that she's like, "I reckon you guys are going up the mountain, aren't you, to go and see some of the giant onyx that's up yonder?" And they're like, "Giant onyx?" And she's like, "Yeah, the onyx that are out there are just ginormous. They grow and they're just huge out there." So Doug,
Yeah, so and one thing that I didn't care for because we got like 2 minutes of it towards the climax of the big fight. Little mini spoilers. Brock should have been like head over heels because his go-to Pokemon is that Onyx.
yeah, I mean
And
he should have been ready to just go up there and look at this. And I'm glad you called it out because when I was watching this, I was like, "Where's Brock's spirit when it comes to rock Pokemon?"
yeah, I mean he should have. I mean, and to be fair, all we saw from Brock it was that Onyx. We didn't see his Geodude. No,
Well, we did see
to
his
be
We did see. Oh well, no, Vulpix was in the next episode. Yeah,
in the
we
next.
yeah we didn't even see Vulpix in this episode. So
So I mean,
which probably
I
would have
don't
been
know.
a little bit more effective than his baby Onyx.
Well, now let's not be calling it a baby Onyx. He's got a regular Onyx.
And that Onyx just happens to be ginormous. But we're get
Right.
we're getting ahead of ourselves. So, Doug, you wanna talk about the old lady talking about these overgrown Onyx and
Yeah,
and sorry.
apparently it's something in the soil makes the onyx grow, multiple times their size. So, know, they're going up there. They're not really looking for onyx. They're still looking for this elusive Bruno fella. And once again, Brock's walking. He's exhausted. He said, "We've been walking for hours. This is completely uncharacteristic of Brock." Um, and then Ash looks down and he sees what looks like a road. Has been dug out, and
Brock immediately looks at it. He's like, "This is no road." He's like, "Yeah, this
they
looks
get
like it's
down in it.
something, and this looks like it's something that was dug up."
They get down in it and keep and walk in it nonetheless. So I mean, who's really the idiot here?
Yeah, for real. And as soon as they jump down in it and they start examining this dugout, long behold, here's one of the giant ass onyxes that just comes barreling out, and it's like, ah, and it just looks angry. And Ash, Brock, and Misty and Pikachu, they're like, oh shit. And they just turn around and they just start bolting. And
Why didn't they jump up on top of the fucking trench?
I don't think it crossed their mind at all.
Oh,
I mean, you get chased like that. I mean, your first thought is just to run. But yeah, this Onyx was about to trample over them, and all of a sudden they hear a guy go, "Hey, over here!" And they just storm off to the side, and come to find out, the guy that said, over here, is none other than Elite Four member Bruno, who is the rock training Pokemon. Well, the fighting training Pokemon from
right.
the Elite Four. Doug?
And so he makes sure that they're okay, and Brock and Ash kind of fanboy out a little bit, and um, Bruno's walking, and we see over his shoulder that Brock, Misty, and Ash are following him. And eventually, Bruno turns around and says, "Is there a reason y'all are following me?" And Brock immediately crumbles. He's like, "My friend's training to to take on the Pokemon League, and he's not too bright. I mean, he's got a good heart, but sometimes he doesn't think too much, and he needs your help because, quite frankly, the most athletic thing he's done since he's been training is surf this big wave with this old fella. And I mean, we were in a movie, but kind of not really. And Ash, get down and beg." And Ash is like, "Okay," and he gets down, and he's like, "Please train me, Mr. Bruno." And Brock's like, "Grovel harder," and he pushes his fucking head down. He's like, "Please, I need help." And and they're like, "We'll do anything you say." And Bruno's like, "Anything?" And they say, "Well, okay." And cut to next thing we know, they're fucking paling water out of the stream.
Yeah,
And
Bruno made Brock and Ash his bitch for for the day, making them do things that he doesn't want to do, but he has to do to kind of survive while he's camping.
this is hands down my favorite part of the episode.
Because Misty's watching this all unfold, and she's like, well, this doesn't seem right. Why are you guys paling the water? Why are you guys bringing up rocks?" And come to find out, all they were doing, fast forward, and they found some twigs that had a V that was in the shape of a V. Come to find out, all of this was just so Bruno could make lunch.
I mean, to be fair, at least he didn't make them make his food for him. He had done the work for the food. It was just the cooking process. Um, and for the sake of myself, I just have to point out the fact that during the water gathering, the wood chopping, and the stone gathering, Misty got absolutely wrecked 3 times.
Yes, and I enjoyed every last bit of it because she was sitting there and she's talking shit. And every time she
And
talked shit, she got hit. And I was like, oh my God, she's finally getting her own. Finally, the Pokemon writers are like, let's finally just hand it to Misty for once.
so they're standing back as Bruno's sitting cross-legged eating his stew with a set of chopsticks because he forgot a spoon. And um, Misty's like, well, this guy seems like he's full of hot air, honestly. And Brock's sitting there going, this is Master Bruno. If he had us do all these tasks, there had to have been a reason for it. And he's still deep down a warrior, and warriors got to eat. He goes, watch, I'm going to sneak up behind him with his frying pan, and he's going to sense my attack, and he's going to block it, and I might not be conscious in a minute. And he's says, you just sit there and watch. And I take it back. He doesn't have, I thought he had a frying pan. He's just got a long stick. And he goes, we get his fantasy on what he expects to happen. And he goes, Master Bruno, show him your lightning speed. And he just fucking brains him.
Dude, because he had this envision in his head right beforehand that he's gonna come down with a freaking big ass stick, and Bruno is just gonna deflect it with the top of the lid for the stew that he had just made. He just comes down, show him your master speed, and just bam. And Bruno's like, what the hell was that for?
So, he's sitting there on a rock. He's got a wash rag on the knot that formed out of his head. And he said, so you want to know the secret to my Pokemon training? And Ash is like, more than anything. And Bruno's like, there is no secret. And they're like, so you didn't come to Mount Hideaway to keep your secrets secret? And he said, no, the reason I come to this mountain is to catch the biggest and baddest Onix that live up here. And
and he's like there is no secret that to be a really strong Pokemon trainer, you have to have strong Pokemon. So I'm coming up here to catch the baddest one of them all.
Yeah, so Brock's like, my perfect image of Master Bruno has been shattered, and he literally goes down a metaphorical spiral, and Team Rocket are back overlooking all this on a cliff's edge. They say, did somebody say something about giant onyxes? And if we catch the biggest one we can find and take it to the boss, we can play kiss ass, and we'll be as strong as the Elite Four trainers, and we don't have to do any of the stupid training like the stupid people that try to do the hard work, and then they snicker like cartoon villains, and we get who's that Pokemon?
And it's Alakazam.
And that'll be relevant next week, thankfully. And
you really do hate when the Pokemon doesn't add up to this episode or the next one, and it's just a random ass Pokemon.
So I'm happy. I'm happy with this run, and I'm happy with Black and White, because Black and White, I mean, we're still young enough in that series where the who's that Pokemon is usually a Pokemon that we're going to meet or we just met. So
we come back from our break, and Team Rocket has a very big bazooka, and they shoot the damn bazooka, and come to find out, they shot it right at the damn Onyx that is underneath in the ground, and the Onyx just blares up, and he's like, "Rah!" And freaking Jesse James and Meowth were not expecting Onyx to be that big, and they just stare at this Onyx, and Meowth is like, "Let's forget it. Let's get out of here." And Jesse's like, "No, we came here to do a job and we're going to finish it." And then we go and jump right back to Ash, Misty, and Brock. And Ash is just he's just pissed because he's like, "Man, basically I'm going to sum up what's going on in Ash's head. Ash thought he could have another cheat day just so he can find out the secret of Bruno so he doesn't have to train his Pokemon anymore and he can just use his secret technique to win the Pokemon League. But now he's like, man, there's no secret. And he's like, there's no secret after all for Pokemon. Nothing besides the fact of training your own Pokemon, which is what he should be doing. Duh.
Yeah. Yeah. If he hadn't have been passing off and going to figure out how Slowbros evolve or Slowpokes evolve, and like I said, surfing and being a de facto movie star, he might be ready. I mean,
he didn't even make it into the movie.
Didn't even make it into the. I mean, I suppose you can make a half-assed argument that Pikachu's probably ready, but nobody else is ready.
No, not at all. But yeah, we hear a big loud blast, and Ash, Misty, and Brock, they're like, "What was that? That sounds like trouble." And Brock's like, "Let's go." And then we go back to Team Rocket, and Team Rocket's sitting there blasting rocket after rocket. I don't know where they have these long ass rockets that they're shooting out, but they're just blaring them out of this cannon, this little bazooka cannon that they got, and it's hitting the Onyx, but it's not doing anything to the Onyx, and it's more pissing on Onyx off even more than he's pissed off because Onyx has a reason to be pissed off, but we're not there yet.
Right.
So, and Meowth is like, he's like, "Good aim, James." And Onyx is just looking over at them. He's like, "Ah," and he starts barreling towards Team Rocket, and Team Rocket just starts running like crazy, like Ash, Misty, and Brock were earlier. And they see a little crack in a wall, which is stupid because you would think this big ass Onyx can crack into this little wall that they're jumping into, but they jump into this little mini cave like wall that's surrounded by all these rocks, and Onyx just goes over and he just starts slamming into the little cave, and he's just like, bam, bam, and basically the rocks are starting to cave in on Team Rocket, and Ash, Misty, and Brock, all they see is freaking Onyx barreling at the damn wall, and they're like, "Those voices, that's Team Rocket." Well, shit, we gotta actually help him. Doug?
Yeah, because we're the baby faces here, and even though everybody watching knows that Team Rocket's the bad guys, we can't be setting a bad example for the kids watching, so we've got to help them. And so this is where Brock throws out his Onyx, and we get that great size disparity. Misty has Star U, not even Star Me.
That's what I'm saying. Like, where the hell are her other Pokemon?
And then Ash goes, well, simple math says 2 water Pokemon is better than 1, so he throws out Squirtle, and freaking.
Well, he wasn't even gonna throw out Squirtle at first. Oh wait, yeah, he was. That because I thought Misty was like, "Well, you should throw out your Pokemon too," and all Brock has is freaking his Onyx with him, and you can tell the size difference of freaking Onyx.
Brock's Onyx just looks like a piece of like hose that you throw out in the yard. I mean, it's just nothing. And I mean, looks like when you throw a rubber snake at your buddy to scare him, and Team Rocket's in this cave, and the cave is subtly collapsing with every second, and they're like, "Oh, we're stuck." And Starmie tries to hit it with a water gun, hits it right in the face, just kind of like you said, pisses it off. Um, Ash and Misty decide to combine Squirtle and Star use water guns. They both take out one eye, and the giant Onyx is frustrated and distracted. And Meow's like, "This is our chance. We got to run for it." And he looks beside him, and both Jesse and James have
They're
into the plunge,
they're already a mile down the road.
and the giant Onyx has regained its composure, and it wipes out Squirtle, Staryu, and Onyx. It hits Team Rocket, and Team Rocket goes blasting off. We see the aftermath. Onyx and Squirtle are out. We see Staryu's got a blinking light in the center of its stomach, and
it's done. And uh it gets knocked off, and it just tail wags right up against Staryu and Squirtle, hits Team Rocket. Team Rocket just goes flying. Like, I felt bad for Team Rocket for a second. Like, I mean, even though they were the ones shooting the damn rocket, they didn't need to get squashed by the damn Onyx like that.
well, no, but you needed a way to get him done for the episode, I suppose.
Yeah.
So then the giant Onyx sees Brock, Misty, and Ash on the cliff, charges to the cliff, knocks into it. Ash gets knocked off balance because he's a fucking clumsy 10-year-old. He goes down into the canyon, and Onyx is about to have him for lunch, basically. And Pikachu jumps down and does a thunder shock, but obviously, we've known since the
first episode.
Was it the first or second episode that electric types are weak against rock?
Unless you're Ash's Pikachu.
Against Brock's Onyx, but that's not Brock's Onyx. That's a Super Mega Onyx.
For real. It seems like it startled Onyx for a second, because Onyx did squint while it was getting shocked, and it kind of tickled it, because Onyx.
Well, I don't know if I would say tickle, but I see what you're saying.
Well, it did something, because Onyx had to shake it off for a second. So it did something to Onyx, but it more pissed him off, and
right,
it started just coming down like it's about to eat Ash and Pikachu. And Ash grabs Pikachu. He's like, "Oh my gosh, this is the end!" And freaking Bruno just jumps down, and like freaking Superman, just grabs both of them, jumps back like 10 feet into the air onto a cliff, and then 10 feet above that onto another cliff to get him out of the reach of the Onyx. And Ash looks up. He's like, "You saved us!" And we have the freaking Brock and Misty come running back, and they're like, "Oh, Master Bruno, you saved him! You saved him!" And Bruno's like, "I'll handle this one myself." And then he just goes down, and Onyx is still not having any of it.
He's just thrashing. He's just
trying
as shit.
I know, freaking. But Bruno's like, "Let me find out what's troubling you." And as he's trying to figure it out, Onyx is just tackle, tackle, tackle. And Bruno is dodging every single tackle attack, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to. He's going to misstep at some point. And Brock, Misty, and Ash notice it, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, he's in trouble." But Bruno continues to sit there, and he's like, "Let me in." And Onyx just stands there for a second, and he walks over to Onyx, and he's like, "Oh, this is your problem," and he starts digging into one of Onyx's stones, and then he's like, "All right, hold right here." And then he pulls out a fucking sand slash out of Onyx, and Onyx looks down and he's so relieved because he had gotten the sand slash stuck inside of him for so long. And freaking he's like, "That's what was troubling you, wasn't it?" And Onyx is like, "Yeah." And then he's like, "All right, well, you're free now, so you can go." And Onyx doesn't move. And Bruno is like, "You want to come with me, don't you?" And Bruno is so freaking happy. And he's like, "Well, I was hoping that if I saved your life, you would come with me. Get in this Pokeball." And he throws the Pokeball and he captures this big old Onyx. Doug.
You remember that Ed and Eddie episode where Ed's walking around with a pebble in his shoe?
Yeah, yes, I do. I actually just watched that not too long ago on HBO Max.
It's this.
Yeah, it is.
And eventually Double D tips over his shoe, and he all this for a pebble. I mean, obviously, I would take a pebble in my shoe than a sand slash in my crevices, but and then I did have to chuckle.
What's that?
When because Bruno pulls out the sand slash and sand slash goes slash, and Ash goes, "What's that?"
Yeah, out of all Pokemon, you don't know what a damn sand slash is? Come on.
You've seen a sand shrew, for goodness sakes.
I know. I mean, you're telling me they don't look the same, but we do come to a conclusion that Bruno knew the secret technique this whole time, Doug. And he's got that special touch.
You usually have to pay for that.
Normally you do. But yeah, Ash is gleaming from ear to ear because he believes he knows the secret technique now, and he went over um to Bruno and he thanked him, and then we shoot straight from that and we're back with Team Rocket, and Team Rocket is now surrounded by multiple gigantic Onyxes, and the Onyxes look like they're about to eat Team Rocket for lunch. But that's how we leave this episode. We never find out what happens to Team Rocket, but I mean, obviously they get out of there, but how?
How dare you? How dare you, sir?
How dare I what?
There was 3 fantastic puns at the end of this episode.
Okay.
One of them says, "I think things are kind of looking rocky, don't you?" And one of them says, "Oh, we shouldn't be taking this. These Pokemon couldn't look any bolder." And one of them says, "Maybe people should stop taking these Pokemon for granted." Granted.
Yeah, I get it.
How dare you? I'll ignore the puns.
My bad, Doug. My bad. But yeah, that was this week's episode, and it was a fantastic episode with Bruno. I think because we're doing a trilogy today, and so we're recording 3 episodes in a row, and by far I think this is like one of my more favorite episodes that I was actually watching and trying to enjoy as a filler episode. What about you, Doug?
I mean, I said it. Is this episode going out?
This episode is actually going out this Friday on Patreon.
I said it on Tuesday. If you listen to what's the name of that episode?
Oh,
you just did. Go West Young. If you listen to Go West Young Meow, I said, quite frankly, I don't know why you wouldn't. I mean, what else are you doing?
For real.
I said I find it hard to give filler episode 4 because I find it hard to give a regular episode a 5. So, I mean, as much as I might have enjoyed the episode, and I did, I think I'm still stuck at the 3.5.
Okay. All right. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
So
It's my new
yeah,
system.
I'm gonna give it a nice solid 3 myself.
Oh, damn! I thought you were going 4 for sure.
No, I like I said, it take. I mean, you people have heard my 4s and my 5s on my rating, and I did enjoy. I thoroughly enjoyed this episode because it had Bruno in it, and it was something different. But you we need like gym battles, like progression in the series, and I don't think that there was much progression. I mean, it was an entertaining episode, but the progression in the episode did not happen really at all because Ash still hasn't started training. No
And I
training
don't
at
think
all.
he's gonna. I don't
No,
think he's gonna.
he's not, and it fucking sucks. But yeah, that was this week's episode. So Doug, um I know you have. I think you have what, one final Pokemon pack over with you. Are you?
Got 2.
You have two? Okay, okay, okay. Do you want to do one of those packs on this episode, or do you want to save them for the next 2 episodes?
It's up to you. It doesn't really matter.
No, it's up to you. They're your packs. What do you want to do, Doug?
I could do one now, and then I think I'll skip the next one, and I'll end with our last one.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so I went first on the last one, Doug. So this week I'm going to have you go first. And
You
remember
only
to take the top 4 cards and put them down so you're looking at an energy.
you only went first because you went ahead of things.
I do want
So
to I do want to inform everybody, and you can vouch for it because you've seen it. But I finally did during my COVID outbreak. I finally got my my freaking Charizard that I have been searching for in the celebration packs, and I went and I sent you a screenshot of me holding that card. I was like, I got it, and you're like, congratulations, sir.
I can't vouch for that. I was drunk when you sent that.
It's still in your phone, or at least I hope it
It doesn't
is.
matter. That doesn't mean I wasn't drunk.
I know. So, all right.
Your wife texted me and said your boyfriend's about to call you. He just,
Did she really?
what did she text me? Yeah, she texted me.
I didn't even know that.
What did she text me? She goes, "Be prepared to get a call from your boyfriend. He legit kissed the fuck out of this package, screamed like a girl, and jumped up and did air guitar."
Of course she sent you that. I had the kids bless the pack before I opened it. I was like, please.
The kids bless the pack.
I did. Cause okay. Right before you do it, I have a funny story because I told you the first part how I almost took the mailman and like shook him upside down because my package said it was out for delivery, but he didn't have my package. But
How dare he?
come to find out, we got 2 USPS mail services on that day, which was weird. But yeah, I literally chased down the mailman and I was like, "Hey, I'm supposed to have a package delivered to my home." I was like, "Where is it?" Like, "Oh no." He's like, "There, I don't have the packages. The packages are coming via someone else." And I'm thinking in my head, what mail service that's United States Postal Service has 2 things of mail per day? So I thought he was lying to me, but I mean, I couldn't shake him down anymore.
Because
But
you were wrong.
yeah, I was 100% wrong. But come to find out, an hour later, I had the package arrive at my house via a different mail carrier, and my wife just looks at me and she's like, "So I was right." You almost killed this postal man over
You almost committed a federal offense.
for some Pokemon cards. And I was like, well, I was like, but I paid for it. And she's like, did it say delivered on your app? I was like, no. She's like,
Motherfucker, what did I say? What did I say right before I hung up because I was heading out the door? I said, you can't really panic until it says delivered.
yes, I know.
What the motherfucker?
I know. But it was one pack. And I vouched that because I had bought this pack and it was a celebrations pack and it only had 4 cards in it. And I said, if I don't get my Charizard on this pack, I am done. I'm done. I'm not buying any more celebration Pokemon packs. And so I got it in the house and I opened the box and it was from GameStop. And I was like, oh no. This one wasn't from GameStop. I bought this one from eBay because you can't buy single celebration packs. So I bought this from eBay. So I was like, and I had the kids come over. I was like, please rub this card. And I was talking to my son, and he rubbed it. He's like, yeah, I'm your good luck charm, because apparently he is. Anything that he touches is freaking turns to gold. I need to have him rub a damn scratch off one of these days. But and then my daughter comes over, me too, me too. And I was like, all right, all right. I was like, all right, rub it. And she rubbed it. And then I kissed it. And Stephanie was like, you want me to? I was like, no. I was like, you stay far away from this pack.
Oh, bro, you're gonna get your nuts cut off.
No, she knows she's bad luck when it comes to this stuff. I was like, you do not touch this pack. And she gave me the most glaring eye. And I opened the pack and I literally screamed like a little girl. I was like, ah! And I jumped up and I think you were there at that WrestleMania where I cleared the couch but didn't remember clearing the couch. I think you
No,
were,
I was up at school because that was
that was WrestleMania when The Rock beat John Cena.
yeah, the first one. That was 28.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, um, I opened it. I just screamed, and I don't remember anything of what happened after that. With me just looking, I threw down the other cards that came with it, and I was just kissing this card. And I grabbed one of my little sleeves and I put it in the sleeve. And apparently, I did air guitar, and I jumped up, and my wife said my head almost hit the ceiling. Dude, I was waiting for this card for so long. Like I
I'm
don't.
gonna tell you straight up.
What's up?
If something had happened and you had, ended up in the hospital, I would not have sympathy for you.
It would have been like the ghost pepper story from years ago, and the doctor looked right at me and was like, "Why?" Like the doctor's looking at me. I am in pain. I'm just like, just pump my stomach, please. And the doctor looked right at me and was like, why? And my wife was standing right next to me and was like, I told him the exact same thing. Wife had me on the ground curled up for 2 hours before she took me to the doctor to get my stomach pumped from ghost pepper.
I was fine.
I know you were fine, but I wasn't. But yeah, that is it, everyone. It's time to open up some Pokemon packs. So Doug, what do you have this week?
Well, I've got an energy, and I'm gonna take a guess at what it is. Is purple psychic?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm sorry, I didn't let you guess that.
I wouldn't have guessed it. I was going fire. So
yeah, okay. So I got a psychic energy. I got a what's it called when the description is shiny?
A reverse hollow.
Got a reverse hollow spiral energy.
Ooh, okay.
I've got fire resistant gloves trainer card.
Okay.
We're on fire so far.
What color was your card on top?
Black border, so dog shit.
Oh shit. Okay.
I've got a Pinora trainer card. There better be some Pokemon in this goddamn pack. I swear to God. Here we go. I've got a Zangoose.
Okay. A Zangoose, all right.
I've got a Curfew.
Okay.
I've got a Farfetch'd, a Galarian Farfetch'd.
Nice. He looks cool, doesn't
He does look pretty cool. Like anybody fuck with me, I'm gonna hit him with the wrong end of this stick.
he?
I've got a Sneasel.
Okay.
I've got a Earling.
Ooh, okay. Nice.
I've got a Golett.
Hey, what? Say that one more time.
Golett. Golett.
Oh, a Golem. Okay.
Okay. And my final card is a Crabinable? A Crabominal.
Probably. Okay. Nice. Nice. The pack that I'm going to be opening is a Sword and Shield Evolving Skies. And it looks like this is going to be a dud pack as well because I got a black card. What energy am I looking at?
Oh, shot in the dark. Water.
Fighting.
Ah, damn it. Oh! Shit.
I have an Iskew, a Trainer Rapid Strike Scroll of the Flying Dragon card, another Trainer Switching Cups, a Chinchou, a Denio, a Pumpkaboo, a Carvana, a Grossifer, a Reverse Hollow Lillipup, and my rare is a Drampa. So yeah, a dud pack this week, everybody. But those are the Pokemon packs this week, and that is the episode. So Doug, do you have anything else to add before we start on our next episode?
I do not.
All right, my brother. Well, say goodbye, Doug.
Bye, Doug.
And this is Wrestling Chris G telling all of you I will see you on the next episode, everybody. And the next episode is the Ancient Puzzle of Pokemonopolis. Have a good night, everybody.